Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hey.
Hello. We have been troubleshooting all kinds of fun things over here because we have new stream graphics. We are trying to stream everywhere right now, and my computer has not. Hello, everyone. Bit the dust yet. Welcome. Oh, my bad.
Hey.
All right. Sorry about that. I had Twitter open, so then I was hearing my own voice. All right. I hope my computer doesn't just melt down. We'll see. I feel like my video is like I'm definitely dropping frames on the video side, but whatever. Hope you guys are doing. I hope you guys are doing well. Wherever you may be watching, we are trying to stream to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter all at the same time. So if you're out there, or if you're just watching on replay, whatever the case, thanks for being here. And now I'm getting errors from YouTube, which is good.
Love it when they send us errors.
All right, maybe this was a bad idea, chat.
Chat, send encouraging messages. Say we're doing a great job.
Or hateful messages.
Yeah.
Just nothing neutral. Nothing
neutral. This is either the best or the worst. I will say I can't pull up. Say we're doing gold on Twitter is still
hateful
good.
Messages.
Yeah.
Just nothing new. Of course it is. Twitter is forever.
Twitter is forever.
I feel like we're probably just buffering everywhere, would be my guess.
I think we're buffering. Yeah, because I have
all right.
YouTube is fine again, and then it's real chunky on Twitter, but we're getting it.
Okay.
And then let me just go ahead and stream a third thing. My MacBook can handle it, right? Let's stream on Facebook. Let's stream the same thing 3 times and see how it likes me.
Yeah. I'm still getting that message from YouTube. It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth stream. By the way, welcome YouTube. Welcome to 2025 on this
YouTube.
show.
Hey YouTube, you're no longer the cool kid on the block. We are streaming everywhere now.
We're trying to. Well, there's a lot of videos that I post only on YouTube. So,
hey YouTube, you're still the cool kids. I've always loved you. I
go.
Don't ever let anybody tell you anything else.
Don't listen to Josh.
Yeah.
Don't ever listen to me. Why are you ever choosing to listen to me of the 3 of us?
In fairness, Josh, my guarantees have been pretty off in the last few months.
Really? You've had weird Johnny guarantees that don't quite pan out?
Hey, just in the last few months. They were great before then.
Yes, sure.
Let me pull up. I'm going to pull up YouTube on my computer, and if it looks good, we'll keep rolling. If it looks bad, then sorry, Facebook, Twitter. I hope you enjoyed your 7 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Your cut.
Yeah.
First on the chopping block. Sorry.
I mean, it looks good right now on my PC, on my laptop. All right, we'll roll with it. If you're out there watching one of the other streams, let me know. And if it looks like butt, that you're allowed to tell me that. Yeah, Twitter looks like it's really. Twitter's got a whole 2 frames per second right now. At least on my.
Sorry,
view.
Twitter.
Twitter, you may be. This may be. This may be the last thing we ever do.
This may not ever work again.
Oh yeah, Twitter's
Twitter. I mean, Twitter's doing okay on my end.
Okay.
On my phone.
All right.
Well, you know what? We'll take that.
On my phone, it looks just fine.
All right. We're gonna for the sake of experiment, we're just gonna roll with it. If I get any
just send it.
Crazy issues, then we'll fix it. But for right now, we're gonna
send those hate-filled messages about us.
It drives engagement. I want personal attacks, ad hominems only, please. We've been over this. I don't want you guys to see your words.
The error message actually went away on YouTube, so we might be
okay. Negative, no neutral. Don't share. As long as YouTube's working, that's the one we want.
All right. Well, this was engaging content for 10 minutes. I just need to pull up the show notes, and I'm good.
Oh, I've been recording this whole time.
Nice.
Let me go ahead and cut it.
But we know I'm recording all right.
Okay, I'm going to delete everything, delete the file. Okay, so actually, I was talking pretty loudly and I wasn't clipping, so I think I found a good medium.
Nice.
I got a new audio interface, and so I think I can be smoother with things now.
All right.
Check, check. There we go. All right, I'm back in, ready to go whenever.
Check 1, 2, 3. All right, we're good. My Wi-Fi's never been so slow on my PC, but we're trying. We're trying. All right. I think we're good. Let's do it. I don't know. Maybe.
Welcome to the
Hang on, I gotta do it again though, not talk over it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Fifth and Goal Sports Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Aaron, Josh, and Johnny.
Welcome to the show. Season 3. We're back. Or because we
Season
have fun
3.
sound effects.
We're back!
We can give you the old Texas we're back. We are back.
We are going to be insufferable. We have found too much power.
Yes.
We have opened the Pandora's box that is Pandora's soundboard,
Yeah.
and we are going to be darn near unlistenable to you, as was our promise in season 1.
Yeah, we actually promise you to get worse as we go, not better. That's our promise to you.
Our goal is to write on our hubris from those cool interviews we did 2 years ago, and now just kind of go, hey, remember when we interviewed Josh Pate? Wasn't that cool?
It wasn't. Well, we interviewed Josh Perry, is who you're thinking of.
You know what?
Josh Pate, him too.
Season 3, Josh doesn't matter.
Oh
Doesn't matter.
man.
Some guy named Josh who's cool and has more followers on Twitter than I do.
Mm-hmm. Good football
But it has
player.
the worst food takes I've ever seen in my entire life.
Horrendous.
Yeah. Johnny, happy 2025, man. Welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be back. Glad to leave that year behind us. Happy to have half a foot of snow right now.
Yes.
In me and Aaron's neck of the woods. If you like puppy content in snow, as in just bounding and prancing in the snow, you can look at my Instagram, because that is all that has been happening the last 2 days. Our beloved podcast mascot barely wants to be inside.
Beautiful. Same.
Yeah. Speaking of weather, Josh, it's coming to you.
They're saying it is. That's what I've been on the old switchboards. They've been saying.
The old switchboards.
Some of the meteorologists are calling for up to 12 to 15 inches of snow, which even they are clear to say these are just some of the projections. It's like they're saying it's a 50-50 shot, which doesn't mean, I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. I don't STEM. But 2, if that happens, 1, the most I've ever seen Dallas get is maybe 3 inches. Even 6 would shut the city down for a week. 12, we are going back to primal. This is when Texas can finally secede if need be.
It won't be
but they will
it
try.
will be a nightmare
in the chaos. No, because you know what Texas has done to fix any of those issues that happened like 3 or 4 years ago?
I'm going to assume nothing.
Yeah, neither did we. Yeah. So it'll be great. I've already purchased lots of beans and rice.
Do you want me to bring an extra shovel for you, Josh?
If you could bring me a shovel and a loaded gun, I think that might help.
Oh my god.
Nah, I got no, please, Johnny. I have 3 different salts. I'm insulted that you would assume otherwise.
Oh my gosh.
Can we mute him? Is that part of our powers now, Aaron?
Oh, it's that surprisingly has always been part of our powers.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, because I edit the show, right? So even if I didn't have the chance to mute Josh in our Discord channel, I could just not. And actually, the listeners will tell you it's something I do routinely. I just forget to bring Josh into the show sometimes. He's just not there. He'll just
sometimes. I really do appreciate, and you guys have so just let me sit in my space. I am the AJ Hawk of this podcast. Sometimes
nobody AJ Hawks like AJ Hawk.
No
one AJ of Pat McAfee to their friends and goes, "Why isn't that guy talking more than him?"
Yeah,
they always go split screen still.
I love when and Johnny, I hope, and Aaron, I hope when you guys go on your like cool technical rants of like, hey, isn't this cool? Like how the Fender did this thing, and you guys like break it down. If you could just cut to me going,
yeah, I can do that
more times. That'd be perfect.
Oh man, listeners, we missed you. And by the way, I say listeners all the time. Something fun I was looking at today and getting ready for the show. My go-to is I always say listeners, thank you for whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that's true. A lot of you do listen. So thank you. But I was looking at our YouTube numbers, and there was as many of you watching on YouTube either during the live stream or afterwards than there were listeners. So when I say listeners, you're in that club too. So thank you. We are, just to give you a peek behind the curtain, I am attempting to stream on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube all at the same time. I can't promise we're going to do it moving forward because I think my PC is about to melt down. So it might just be a episode 1 thing only, but we're trying it. If you want to check out the stream, we encourage you to. We have new graphics. We have a bunch of new things. So that's available if you want to check it out on any of those platforms. This is my quick plug to also subscribe to whatever platform you're watching on or follow. I'd appreciate it. Wow, what a 2025 for Buckeye fans especially, right? Because I think the last time you heard us, it was just us being. Since then, the Buckeyes have curb stomped Tennessee and then blew out Oregon. And now it's the college football semifinals. Before we dive into this game, though, Johnny, I do feel like you need to just kind of let the fans know what's going to happen at this Cotton Bowl.
Oh, sure. Well, first off, I would like to say I have learned my lesson. And I know right now you're probably assuming that I'm going to Ryan Day, and that's absolutely incorrect. We have learned our lesson, hopefully, as a fan base. We need to be as just negative in the most toxic way possible with this team going forward. And it takes all of us. It takes all of us.
It really does. Oh, thank you.
Week 1 next year, the whole off season, if we can muster it, negative. I don't want to hear anything positive about that team. I don't want to hear anything positive about the team right now. We got to be negative. They feed off the negativity. We got to buckle in as a fan base and just really try to be as negative as possible about this team, because that's what worked. They really flipped that switch when we all turned on them. So
season 2 Fifth and Goal podcast mocked Kirby Smart for making up fake villains for them to fight. Yeah. Season 3 podcast advocates cyberbullying.
In fairness, the villains were real. Yeah. They weren't made up in this situation.
Well, in this case, no, it's absolutely real.
But again, I still regret nothing I said. They deserved all of that wholeheartedly from the fan base.
Absolutely.
And actually, the way they played the last 2 games,
it makes that game even worse.
It backs it up. Yeah, that's why the fan base was mad. They were mad because they knew this was in them, and we couldn't understand why it was not coming out. Truly. And let's remember, if this is not an expanded playoff, they don't even get this chance.
They don't even get a breath.
So it's also something that we're not used to as a fan base, or anyone is really. Like in a normal year,
a chance to
Notre Dame's done losing to Northern Illinois like week 2. It's over. It's done. Like normal year. Ohio State takes that second loss. They're done. Texas loses a second time to Georgia. They're done. Like, so 3 of these teams would have not sniffed a normal, even 4-team playoff. Anyway, but the Cotton Bowl. So as I kind of alluded to earlier, it's trying to show those Texans how to deal with winter. They should just open the roof. Open the roof, Jerry.
Yes,
let's play in the elements. Those Longhorns won't know what hit them. But I'm going to navigate our way down to the Cotton Bowl, but it should be really fun. I expect there to be a lot of Buckeye fans, even though it's in Texas. The fan
Ohio
base
State
travels really well. I mean, it might be like 60% Texas fans still, but I bet there'll be a lot of Buckeyes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 5.5-point line. Like, I think that's fair.
Perfect. Yeah.
But, you know, in talking about these semifinals, like we will today, I think we have to talk about the quarterfinals a tad as well. I think so here's Ohio State just played their best. They played even better than they did against Tennessee, against
Truly.
like 34-0. You could never ask for more.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Texas played. Now, I'm not going to necessarily say it was their worst game of the year, but they did not play well against Arizona State. And that's not taking anything away from the Sun Devils.
Absolutely
they played
not.
magnificent, especially the second half and overtime. But I think it's irrational to not expect both teams to come a little bit back to the mean. And I'm not even saying they come all the way back to the mean, but I don't think Texas will play that poorly, and I don't think Ohio State will play that well.
Yes.
Now that's very broad in general, but I've talked too long already, so I'll let you guys share your thoughts, and then I'll tag in if there's anything else that I think we're missing.
Well, I'm excited because the weather, it's obviously Texas, this is going to be like a home game for them. But maybe with the weather, all the Longhorns fans don't know how to drive in the snow, and it ends up being just Buckeye fans there.
Never actually make it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one can hope.
I'm watching those ticket prices just in case they go down. Just in case they go down. I'll pop a ticket.
Good luck with
I
that,
should have
Josh.
waited to buy it.
You should have waited. You listen.
My luck with tickets this year.
Listen, I have one rule, and that is just wait. If you end up getting a great ticket, awesome. If not,
you didn't spend any money.
You didn't do anything anyway.
Yeah.
Didn't spend any money anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I got to save up for a drum set. I can't be dropping $300 to stand at AT&T.
Yeah, well, we'll dive into this Cotton Bowl matchup.
Let's actually talk about the game and not just.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Game.
One of the things that's interesting about this game is these two teams, regardless of how it goes, play immediately next season, week 1 in the shoe. So get excited about that. It's best.
Thank you, football gods.
2.
We appreciate you organizing that for us.
Mm-hmm.
They'll both be very different teams.
Yeah, they will. Now, there's an interesting soundbite that has presented itself from recently from someone who's in the news for a variety of different reasons. But Emmanuel Acho had something interesting to say about Will Howard. I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll react to this.
Ohio State has the worst quarterback remaining, period. They have the worst quarterback remaining in Will Howard. I can confidently say that. Chase, you said your concern was their quarterback. Yeah. My concern is their quarterback. So Will Howard is the limiting reactant for Ohio State. Agree. So I like Ohio State, but make no mistake about it. That quarterback, we saw him do it against Michigan. Yeah. He can underwhelm. He can underperform.
Guys, thoughts on that?
I'm so glad our check finally cleared for him to badmouth them in public. This is exactly. Oh man, especially for Will Howard, dude takes this stuff personally. I'm so excited. This was the exact all right, is he gonna have like a little slump?
First off, we asked for negativity. We got negativity.
Thank you.
So,
no, this is
thank
perfect.
you. Thank you, Acho.
So much. This is exactly what we wanted.
I don't think you needed to be in the news for any other hot takes here, buddy. But
there's nothing else. I guess there's nothing else going on with you.
Anyway, Will's been obviously brilliant the last 2 games, but I think that's not it's so short-sighted and so I don't know. It's so thin. To say Will Howard's the reason the Buckeyes lost to Michigan, and we're not going to go into that game. We're not going to relitigate that. But they lost that game for many reasons. And I think anybody who knows those teams and watched those teams a lot this year, it was coaching primarily.
Absolutely.
Not just the players had their part, but it was primarily coaching. What has been actually, if you're a Buckeye fan, the last 2 games, it's been the most startling contrast to the rest of the season the game plan. It's aggressive. They're throwing to run, where, you know, the normal advice always is, oh, we're going to establish that run so then we can play action and throw the ball. No, like that's not the strength of this Buckeye team. And for some reason it took this long, but we're, you know, let's be in the present and going into the future. They finally have understood that in the last 2 games. And you see them early and often throwing that ball, getting it out wide, getting it to 4 because he's down there somewhere. And it's okay to just chuck it up to Jeremiah Smith.
Yep.
And you have Abuka and Ennis and Tate and Gee and heck, Henderson is great on a wheel route. So you have all of these weapons that you spread them out, and then Henderson and Judkins start gashing them, especially in the second half after you've spread them out, after they have to play a too high safety or shell defense just to help their corners out because they can't do it on their own. They finally adjusted to that. And that helps out a repaired offensive line as well, because you're facilitating ease and you're putting the defense in conflict more. You're not showing what you're doing so often. And so finding that happiness between Chip Kelly and Ryan Day's offense and passing first has changed this. And that's allowed Will Howard to also warm up and get into the game quicker.
Yes.
And he's not waiting until 3rd and 8 to be throwing the ball. So then when we get to a 3rd and 8, he's confident. He's already gotten 4 or 5 passes. And heck, he can be throwing a slant or a screen and it goes for a touchdown. Nothing helps a quarterback's confidence more when he has utter faith in his weapons that they're going to bail him out if he's not absolutely perfect. And on simple plays, they can explode for a big play as well. And then just to Acho's comment there, like, has he been watching these other teams? Like, listen, I really like Drew Allard. Like, I'm actually probably one of the bigger Drew Allard fans outside of the Penn State fan base. He is wildly inconsistent. Wildly. And he did not play well in either playoff game so far. It's been all about Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton and the defense. Like, they've been able to run like crazy on these other teams. And all credit to them. Allard hasn't had to go off, but he's wildly inconsistent, way more so than Howard. Ewers hasn't even been consistent. He was excellent against Arizona State when he needed to be. All credit to him. You can say he's more talented than Will Howard. I'm fine with that. And then the worst one to me is Leonard. Like, listen, he's a great leader. He's clearly got all the intangibles, like no ego, is willing to take all these big hits and run the ball. But he didn't even throw for 100 yards in that game. Like, and that's not like Michigan last year where it's like, hey, we don't have to, so we're just going to run, you know? And like, why are we even going to mess with throwing? They can't. Like, they Notre Dame literally cannot win a game when they have to throw. Like, they won't win that game. That version of a game with Notre Dame against a equally talented opponent, they will lose. So I have no idea where he's coming from.
I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, in fact, again, he's a Texas like alumni. He's a homer, but I don't get how he gets to worst quarterback in the playoff. Like that's crazy.
See, we're so used to Kirk Herbstreit, who went to Ohio State and is just the absolute worst to the Big Ten. And so we're it's so hard for us when we see a guy acting like a little bit more of a homer.
Josh, I don't know what you're talking about. I just saw him on a podcast and he says he has no idea what people were talking about.
I will say
that he thought Alabama should be in the playoff.
It was so weird because I totally forgot that he did that. I remember him saying to me, "Hey, my comments about Indiana, I didn't make them." And then him like blocking everyone who tried to show him the receipts.
I heard today that he's not on Twitter. It's his kids.
Oh,
thank you
so much for that clarification.
Wrong, but
a lie.
I too let my kids and/or dog onto my very public profile where anybody can like take things out of context. I often give that to my child and/or dog.
Well, And look, if that's what he wanted to do, I have no issues with that. But don't lie. Like, read some of his tweets. Those are the tweets of a 40-year-old. And no offense to him at all. And that is not a child.
We clocked that. Sorry.
Yeah. So
got it.
I mean, maybe it was like recently that he hasn't been on Twitter, but he was saying he hasn't had it for a while, which I just think it just has to be false in my opinion. But
yeah,
whatever.
Just apologize, man. Just eat it.
Yeah.
Like just say, hey, I was wrong.
That's underestimated.
Even Feinbaum, even Paul Feinbaum literally waved a white flag on, I think, Get Up and said, hey, I was wrong. Like, I screwed up. And that doesn't make me necessarily like Paul Feinbaum's takes anymore, but I can at least respect the fact that he's like, hey, stupid take by me. It happens.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of it. But Kirk can't seem to admit that maybe I was wrong. And maybe the lunatic fringe fan bases out there are actually just the regular fans.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a whole conversation. No. We could have an entire show.
Yeah, we could.
Just on that part. So why don't we do this? We're making picks here, but I'm curious, guys, your just thoughts on Ohio State, Texas predictions, scores, anything like that. I think Ohio State, because I legitimately thought Ohio State was going to lose to both Tennessee and Oregon. I think the Michigan game really broke my brain.
Same.
And yeah, as it did for a lot of Buckeye fans, and understandably so. This is the first time I'm like, yeah, I think Ohio State wins, which terrifies me to my core.
Oh, yeah.
So
I don't like the confidence.
I am going to say Ohio State wins. Give me 31-24 Buckeyes in Dallas.
Yeah. I'm of a similar vein, Aaron. I think it's even closer. I think 27-24. I think I actually wouldn't be surprised if I'm saying too many points. I think Texas is going to struggle to score. That's like the one thing that really prevents me from picking Texas to just win is I don't see how they break down the Ohio State defense. Arizona State ranked, I think, almost like at 100 in pressure rate as a defense. And they sacked Quinn Ewers, I think, 4 times in that game.
Oh, man.
That's a veteran Texas offensive line, and they were getting beat up. And Texas, and we talked about this at the offseason, they're down to like their 4th-string running back. And like a lot of those were off-season injuries, and they couldn't run the ball against Arizona State, and it was a killer. That's why they beat Clemson. They could run the ball. So I think they're going to struggle to run that ball, which means I think they're going to really struggle to move it at all on offense. And I have more faith in Ohio State's defense shutting down Texas than I'm even like, oh, the offense is just going to go berserk again. Like, I think Texas has a very good defense. They have a solid defensive line. Like, their corners are probably better, at least than Tennessee, if not Oregon's as well. But I think eventually Ohio State's offense breaks through and Texas is going to struggle to score. So I have 27-24, very close.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it when we all agree on something.
Oh no,
that's bad.
I can't because I could say, you know what, Texas. I'll take Texas. I think they got scared, properly so, by them escaping Arizona State off of some calls that we don't have time to get into.
It was targeting, by the way.
Was targeting,
clearly targeting.
That's if you go to Wikipedia and search up targeting. I think that's the shot. That anyway, it's okay. Other podcasts have talked about that, and we will too. But for now, like, the only thing I can give Texas, is defense maybe, but like, that's about it. Like, if the offense is as hot and motivated, this is the thing, and this is how we've seen. This is how Ryan Day responded to Michigan differently than he has since. And we talked about this with the play calling. He coached to like prove. I don't even know how to describe it.
He coached to prove something.
He
rather
coached to
than
prove
just
something,
to
sure.
win.
Yeah, and his team did not believe that he was confident in them, and it showed. that's changed. And if they're riding on this attitude, the way in which they're even drawing, I mean, it's one thing to talk about that 34-0 run. And I don't mean to discount it, but lots of teams have gotten up and then lost the lead because after their scripted runs or the scripted plays go away, they can't find, the actual momentum in the second half. And the concern was what I had, and I saw Johnny tweeted this, and I was, feeling this as well. When Oregon converted at the end of the first half, and then their opening drive in the second half resulted in a touchdown, we both saw the signs, and we went, all right, here it is. They can get hot real quick, and then they get nervous, and they're going to fall apart. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and that alleviated some of my fears.
Yeah.
But the one thing they're going to have to see, and again, they're going back into, it wasn't close either way, both with Tennessee and with Oregon for the most part. It'll most likely be a lot more of a grind with Texas.
Yes.
And so the one thing I'm holding out on is, can this team maintain the momentum and kind of the shake it off feel without going back to what they did against like Michigan? So that's my caveat.
I mean, I think that's a fair point because, I mean, Ohio State has truly not been in a situation in this playoffs where they're even playing a close game where you have the, call it what you will, the pucker, scale, whatever you want to call it. That hasn't been a thing for Ohio State. And I'm not saying they can't win a close game. I actually expect them to win a close game, but that's the one thing we haven't seen is a close game since Michigan. And does Ryan Day and does Chip Kelly, do they revert back to some of the I'm tense, I'm stressed, we have to win this?
Right.
Or are they still loose and fired up? And is it more of that Rose Bowl pregame speech we saw from Ryan Day? I hope so.
Yeah.
As a Buckeye fan. And that's
be emotional.
Yeah.
Yes.
Be emotional.
It's okay. Emotions are good.
Yeah. I'll just say, because I know we got to move on to other topics and games, but because we've been very Buckeye centric, the one path to victory, because I'll give, like, Texas can win this game. Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
Without like bizarre things happening. One, turnovers are always like level the playing field. Two, that offensive line is veteran. If they come with an attitude and play better and they're able to run the ball, Texas will score. They'll be able to do so, especially if Quinn's having a good game. But he can be kind of up and down too. However, Sark is really good at scripted plays. What does that mean? Usually you come into the game and your first drive or two is you already know the plays. You practiced them a million times over the last few weeks. Texas is usually great out of the gun. Well, that would help if they got a lead early on and those scripted plays go well. They also are they're solid in the secondary. I know Klubnik was able to pick them apart, but most of Arizona State's damage done against Texas was the run game. And then a lot of that passing was even trick plays, if we're being honest. So, like, their secondary is pretty solid. So it'll be interesting to see. Texas can absolutely do it. But like most games, it comes at the line of scrimmage. That offensive line's going to have to play way better than they did the last game. And the defensive line's going to have to be in the backfield, like roughing up Howard.
Yeah, no question about it. On the other side, on Thursday, we have the Orange Bowl between Penn State and Notre Dame. And I think it's worth pointing out that there is a vast, vast difference between how we view Notre Dame and perhaps how our parents view Notre Dame. And why do I say that? I say that because the quarterfinal matchup, the Sugar Bowl, was Notre Dame's first BCS/New Year's Six win in 31 years. We're all in our mid-20s. We haven't been alive to see that. So our version of Notre Dame is a team that, and I'm not necessarily saying I even believe this, but generally, broad strokes, our version of Notre Dame has been, hey, this team's overrated. Why do people care? What gives? Huge win for Marcus Freeman. Now, my brain is a little bit cynical, and so one of the thoughts I have is, wow, how overrated is Brian Kelly? I think the answer is very, but we'll save that for a different time. I've made my thoughts clear on that before, and I think to this point I've been proven correct. Regardless, Marcus Freeman has done a tremendous job. He's obviously one win away from a national championship spot. A tough matchup against Penn State, no doubt. But that's the story for both teams, right? I've got a graphic up right now on YouTube, and we encourage you to check it out. Check us out over there. I did stop streaming on Facebook and Twitter because my PC was melting. So sorry about that for those people. Last national championship, Penn State, 1986. Notre Dame, 1988. Now, no guarantee that one of them is winning a championship, but there is a guarantee that one of them is in the championship, and that alone is significant for these two programs. And I don't like the 12-team format. We've talked about that ad nauseum. I'm not trying to get into a discussion about this. I think what's been proven already, and I know it's year one, is that this playoff is just going to give more opportunities for teams you would consider to be a blue blood. Ohio State is a perfect example. You guys mentioned it. They're in any other year, they're done. That Michigan game is it. Like, yeah, you'd probably play in a New Year's Six game, but we saw how the Buckeyes fared in that game last year in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri. There was little to no effort or care. And I can't say I fully blame them. This new format's giving the more traditional powers even more opportunities to get in and prove themselves. And for a team like Penn State and Notre Dame, who have largely been on the outside looking in, not far, like fringe team looking in, this is all they needed. This format was built for James Franklin, and he's here. He's got a chance to get the Penn State to a national championship. I think we're in for a slugfest. I think we're in for a close game, if two. Which game's close? I'm picking the Orange Bowl. Notre Dame just 2.5-point favorites entering this game, but I think we're in for a good one here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Aaron,
absolutely.
Now, I also said this about the Ohio State-Oregon game. Like, I said, like, I'll be shocked if this is more than a one-possession win by either team.
Right.
And yeah, but now I say this again with these teams, but I say that also because neither of these teams is built to run away from anybody. Like, and this is not Notre Dame's fault. Their schedule ended up being very easy in comparison. Now, again, it's not their fault. They had Florida State on the schedule. They have USC. Like, these teams kind of failed Notre Dame.
Yep.
Like that, their two toughest games outside of A&M were Navy and Army. Like that, and we love our armed forces, but Notre Dame's the one program used to facing the triple option and their offenses, so it's not as big of a deal for them. Yeah, right. Like they know how to deal with that. So when people are like, "Oh, the triple option with the academies," it's like, not for Notre Dame though. They play them far too often. They're used. Also, if either of these teams isn't supremely more talented than their opponent, they really struggle to run away from them. Like Penn State should have been able to break that game open against Boise State and just couldn't do it. And the only reason they did against SMU is one, because they're far more talented than them. Sorry, Josh. And two, SMU was just handing them the ball. I mean, they gave them two pick sixes.
Yeah.
So like neither one of these teams is built to run away from each other. And they both are run-centric teams. Like now, as I said earlier, I think Drew Allard is way better than Leonard. However, he's inconsistent and also prone to a really bad mistake. And Leonard's been able to prevent those bad mistakes like recently. And that's the big thing. Like why Notre Dame ultimately beat Georgia? One, because they were just better. So let's get that out of the way. But also because turnovers, which they helped create, like that wasn't Georgia just giving them the ball, and they scored even on special teams. But they also didn't shoot themselves in the foot. Other than a few penalties, they don't do that. They're very well coached. So, Aaron, I totally agree with you. I expect it to be quite low scoring because both defenses are also built to stop the run.
Yep.
So I'm so fascinated because it's just strength on strength, and it's just gonna be a bludgeoning, which I mean, it's just going to be such a. It could be potentially such a chaotic difference from the night from the Ohio State Texas game a day later. Like
Yeah.
it could just be like look so different from the quarterback position and everything. I can't wait, but I my main question for Notre Dame is Jeremiah Love healthy?
Yeah.
Is he healthy? Because he wasn't. And credit to Notre Dame, they have depth at the position. They're very good there anyway. I think they need Jeremiah Love, partially because he's good out of the backfield catching as well. If not, I have a harder time seeing Notre Dame win when Penn State has two healthy backs. And Katron Allen's really kind of taken over like in those last few games. He's been the best player on the field. So, but Penn State, Abdul Carter, is he healthy?
Yep.
Like that's also crucial. So health is maybe the biggest storyline going into that game.
Yeah, no question about it. And I mean, yeah, I think I don't know why. I just have a feeling that this game's going to be really good, which means it's probably going to let me down, and it'll be 20-3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
as a
that's the
final
one.
score.
I mean, other than the general anxieties I have for the Cotton Bowl, I'm like genuinely excited to watch the Orange Bowl, which means it's going to suck.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know why. I can either have Ohio State win, or I can have a really fun Orange Bowl. And there's not going to be a choice in between the two.
Yeah, fair enough. Back in 30 seconds. I'm trying to see if I can get. That didn't seem to work. Oh well. There's a way I can like set up an ad that plays on YouTube, but I'm getting an error message, so maybe not yet. Not that I'm trying to give you ads, YouTube, for the record. I'm not. All right. I think we're good.
Is it Squarespace?
No, I don't know. It was supposed to, like YouTube. It would be like a 30-second ad on YouTube that would just like play. Like, so whatever they pick.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You can't. Oh, I see. You can mark it as an ad.
Yeah.
You can like. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it didn't seem to work, so I'll play around with it a little bit. All right. Well, it's not the college football playoff is not the only playoff happening. Farewell NFL regular season. You were good for some of us. You were torturous for others. Johnny, how we doing?
I'm going to mute my mic. Yeah.
Speaking about teams unable to pull away from others that they should have. And Josh, you liked the tweet, so I knew you agreed. The Bengals should have been beating the Steelers by like 20 points in that game, and they just let them hang around. And every single Bengals fan was thinking at the end of that game, well, they're about to blow it to Pittsburgh again. And credit to them, they didn't. So that at least feels good. Like
technically, yeah.
I will say that was the outcome I wanted to happen this weekend if it meant the Bengals weren't getting in. Like, obviously, I still want the Bengals to win, and I didn't want the Dolphins to make it because the Dolphins are awful. They're awful. Okay. So I was like, at least get the Broncos in there because they'll hypothetically give the Bills a game. Also, they're used to some snow and cold weather, so they won't be totally out of their element in Buffalo. Anyway,
it fits. Yeah.
Like, I think there's not a lot of like upsetness in Bengals land, I guess, because we knew this was coming. Like, and the frustration was week 1 when you lose to New England, and it's when you can't make a field goal against Baltimore both times. And like, we screwed up the first game against Pittsburgh. You should win that. Like, it was just time after time after time, just blowing it. And the Bengals actually like heads rolled like immediately after. So that was kind of wild to see. And it was like, I love Lou. I get why he had to go, but also like, why isn't the GM going? Because he's the one who's been whiffing and letting these players go like Jesse Bates that you shouldn't. Or DJ Reader, who I'm sure you're loving right now in Detroit, Aaron. These are guys that you hang on to. You had them. They're yours.
Yep.
And just an unwillingness to pay and hang on to them was frustrating. But the O-line coach finally got fired. Pollock had to go. Like, that O-line, they have invested a lot of resources into that, and it's still bad.
Yep.
Like, so that's coaching. That's coaching, or you're just totally whiffing on these players. But a lot of these players were successful at their previous stops, so it's most likely coaching. So it's just such a disappointing, such a waste. Trey Hendrickson ends the season leading the league in sacks. Jamar Chase wins a Triple Crown. Burrow ends the season leading the league in passing. Like that's impossible. I don't think a team's ever led the league in all three of those categories before, like at all, period.
Mm-hmm.
And this team didn't make the playoffs. Just crazy.
Yeah.
Kansas City absolutely was terrified of the Bengals, and that's why
They played like it.
tried to
Oh, my.
lose. But you know what? They didn't have any reason to try anyway in that game. The Bengals have no one to look at but themselves. So just frustrating. Like, I think it was just frustrating of like, why did it take so long to click? The defense started playing better. It just annoying. Like, I think it was just annoying because we're just, and classic Ohio sports fandom outside of Ohio State is like, our issue is the ownership, and that's the one thing that is evergreen.
Yeah.
So, like, how much optimism can we actually have?
Hey, I don't know. The Reds brought in Gavin Lux, so we're
Oh, finally.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are 10-point underdogs to the division winners, the Baltimore Ravens. Josh, I don't know how to put this other than Mike Tomlin, I think, does his absolute best he can. And when he goes to sleep at night, the Green Goblin mask appears and just screams at him, go as close to 500 as possible. The Steelers actually had like a legitimate chance, like for the 1 seed almost, and then just laid an egg against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's kind of all been downhill from there. I know they lost the game before that, but it's all downhill from there. I'm telling you, that mask is screaming at him, and the fans are screaming at him, like, Mike, be better than 1 game over 500, and he hits him with,
we do not care.
That's what he hits him with.
Deal.
Yeah.
10-7.
Yeah.
It's
10-7.
1 game better than I expected this year, Josh. Are you thrilled?
I think I originally said 9-8. So yeah. Love a 4-loss streak.
You're 9-8. We would have been in instead of you, probably.
We do not care.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Send that one to me as well.
The soundboard has been tragically underutilized in this episode, but don't worry, fans. As the season becomes more and more unhinged, I've got a lot here, so it's going to get real dumb. My Lions get the 1 seed, big win, 31-9 over the Minnesota Vikings. The last game of the season, game 272. Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 touchdowns, and the Lions cruise to a 15-2 record. So they're playing home games the rest of the way. The Chiefs will play home games the rest of the way. We'll see if they end up playing one another. That's highly dependent on how healthy the Detroit defense can get in time. Although, what a showing they put on.
Is it, Aaron?
I mean, maybe not. Maybe they're just going to win anyways. I don't know.
That coordinator of yours, he will be gone. Well, you're losing both your coordinators.
Yeah,
they're both gone.
Yeah.
They're both gone.
Yeah.
I'm more impressed with the defensive job this season.
At least the last game. Yeah. We went from basically giving up 35 points a game.
I know the stats aren't going to say it, but just based on the number of injuries and the attrition, that's so tough for a defensive coordinator to deal with. And Aaron, you said the other day, he's basically thrown the young guys in the fire and said, we're still playing the same defense. Figure it out.
Yep.
And they figured it out when it mattered most. So, I mean, that's awesome momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm hopeful. It's going to be, Ohio State playoff run has me feeling good. We'll see if the Lions do too. Needed week off. It sounds like David Montgomery, running back, is going to be back. That break is very helpful. So that's NFL. Some other games, I'll just run through the schedule real quick. On Saturday, you have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Houston Texans. The Texans, one of just 2 home teams to be underdogs, and I think that's not surprising based on how they finished the year. Some injuries there, obviously, as well.
Correct.
Steelers, Ravens, that's on Saturday as well. Sunday, the Broncos, last team in, beating the Kansas City Chiefs. They're at Buffalo. Good luck. I love that Denver team, but good luck. Green Bay at Philly. Washington at Tampa Bay. And then we wrap things up on Monday night. Minnesota, a 1.5-point favorite over the Los Angeles Rams in LA. There is technically a path where both the Rams and Chargers would host their respective conference games. I think it's more likely they just straight up go 0-2 in the wild card weekend. It's possible.
I saw
though.
something on Twitter, and I should have cited this person. I apologize, person on Twitter. It was a good joke, and I should have cited you properly. But they were like, I love how this is. We've had the potential for this issue before. We have the Giants and the Jets who
for
have
years.
for years.
Nobody's even discussed it.
Nobody has ever thought. I wonder if they both host.
Oh,
The thought has never entered our brains once.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time with the Stars and the Mavs. LA can talk about this. Like,
and we still don't have to talk about it.
And guess what? We don't have to do. Worry about it. Yeah.
No, Aaron. I think both LA teams win though. I think the Vikings get taken out.
All right.
And you mentioned about Houston. Houston's so injured that they have no one left at receiver. The Chargers are going to win that game.
Yeah, the Texans are in that familiar 4:30 Saturday PM that slot. So that's just their slot until they win, until they make like a conference championship. That's just your lot in life, Houston. I'm sorry. It's just how it goes.
Commanders, Buccaneers, I think
sometimes
will
the guys make picks based on their vast knowledge of sports. Sometimes they make picks based on vibes.
After much soul searching, after looking at a map, I have come to the conclusion.
Okay.
It's the Cavs. The Cavs. My Cavs, Josh. That's who you have, right?
It's the Cavs. It's the Cavs over the Nuggets. Yes, you got me.
Either way, they're probably going to be wrong. It's time for Picks of the Week.
All right, probably one of the weirdest things about the new sound effects that we have is these little, our voice guy who does our segments. Well, Josh and Johnny can hear them now. And, well, I can't too, for a matter of fact. It's not me putting it in post-edit, So looking at Josh and Johnny hearing their own voice in their headphones was a good time from my perspective. So... yeah, that's kind of weird, but we get to hear it now, and so do you if you're on YouTube. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. Anyways,
was that pick good? I'm trying to remember.
It was the NBA. So the context of that is it was the NBA Finals. You were trying to make your picks. You accidentally picked two Eastern Conference teams to be in the NBA Finals.
That's right.
And so then we did this old circle back to you. Then you picked. I think you actually had Dallas beating Boston. So you had the right teams in it. You just flipped.
I had the right teams,
so if I remember correctly, you were actually the closest of the three of us to that pick.
Cavs Nuggets was all wrong.
Could be right this year.
Once I asked ChatGPT, hey, what are the teams on the West and the East, and is there a difference?
Oh my gosh, Aaron! If the Nuggets and Cavs play each other in the finals, I will do the Nugget challenge every game.
Every game.
Every game.
No,
every game.
Not every game. Maybe pick one.
Every game.
Oh, are you inviting people?
We're going to get that Sam's Club pack of, it's 10 pounds of dinosaur nugs, and we're going to attack this thing.
Now, you say we. How many people are you inviting to do the Nugget Challenge?
No. Like, the proper Nugget Challenge is
you?
Each person.
Oh, my gosh.
Other people can come watch. I'm eating the nugget.
Oh.
I'm going to have to run, 10K at least every day just to get rid of the excess protein. But I will do that for my team. I am committed.
By the way, Cavs and Thunder play on Wednesday. Those are the two best teams in the NBA. It's not what we're picking. As alluded to earlier, we are going to go ahead and pick the college football playoff. So if you're new, well, first of all, let me back up. Season 3 has arrived. If you didn't notice, it's episode 1 of season 3. That means our scoreboard for picks of the week has reset. It means that Johnny has once again won. He's won in season 1. He was the champion in season 2. So Josh and I owe him somehow. We're not sure logistically how, but we owe him a Panda Express burrito because it was advertised to us that this burrito was going to be a thing. And last I heard, it's not a thing yet. So
real.
We're going to have to bring our own tortillas into the store, which I'm sure is not frowned upon at all, and concoct this ourselves. So that's details to figure out for a later time. What's important,
Johnny, if the world is not on fire come Saturday, there's a way. Right across from Panda Express is a Tom Thumb, and we can get our tortillas there, sneak them in. I can get you an orange chicken. Burrito.
Amazing.
I'm devastated.
Do I want to? No.
Yeah, I'm devastated. I want this so bad.
I hate that this exists.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I hate that we live in a world in which we can make this, and then and I'm not going to eat it. Johnny's going to probably offer it to me as like a show of goodwill, and I'm going to honor what we arbitrarily decided. And I'm not going to. I mean, I guess we shared the cookie.
Nothing's wrong. Nothing's stopping you from going the next day, Josh, and doing the same thing over again. Nothing's stopping you.
No, it is.
No, the next day, not that day.
No, I have to purge memory of this item from my mind. I am no longer allowed to know this is. I have to be like neuralized. I have to be Men in Black neuralized.
I don't think that was part of the deal.
That's part of the deal.
That's season 3. Neuralized. That's what you get.
This is the season 3 updates, Johnny. Did you not get the memo I sent you?
Yeah.
No, I did not. Did you send it via carrier pigeon?
Yeah, I don't, and I think he was not sure which direction was north, so it might be a sec.
Neither is the weather, Josh.
If he keeps going in one direction, he'll get north eventually.
True enough.
As long as he's not going exactly like 0 degrees east or west, he'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did just say north, and I didn't like specify like north by northeast, and so he might be in
Wisconsin.
What's directly above us? Winnipeg. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Winnipeg. We do need a season 3 prize, so I don't know if we're going to figure that out this episode. Or listeners, viewers, you can let us know. At Fifth Goal Sports on Twitter is a great place for that. Give us what prize the winner of season 3 Picks of the Week should get. Yeah, it's usually food related. It's been food related for the first 2 seasons. It doesn't have to be, but that is what we tend to gravitate to. So
I have an idea.
All right.
Oh no.
You have to spend evening at the country's most dangerous Waffle House.
That's not a prize, Johnny.
That's not a prize, Johnny. You've been seeing too many last place fantasy teams.
No.
What are you?
We're just going to take the ACT afterwards just for fun too?
No.
What are you?
That's easily, Aaron. That's easily been the. Like, I think that's the worst punishment.
No, it is
making
not.
somebody take the ACT and they have to try. That's the worst.
Okay, it's not the worst. That takes what, 3 hours? How long does the ACT take?
Horrible. Oh, put me in one of those eating challenges all day.
Oh my
over
gosh.
that. I never want to take that test ever again. It sounds terrible. I'd also be like an idiot. I'd score so bad at this point on the ACT.
Yeah.
There's no way.
What were we? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, what were we talking about?
Sorry,
Deadly
waffles.
Waffle Houses. I have an article from Medium.
Sorry, I totally
that
sidetracked.
talk about how Waffle House is the most deadly restaurants.
Hey, everything else was closed yesterday. You know what was open? McDonald's and Waffle House. It was not that bad.
Bless them.
Clearly, it was not that bad on the roads. They were open.
Yeah.
Our Waffle House caught on fire and was back up and running. I think like burns down and was back up and running in I think 2 months.
Maybe maybe that Waffle House is the most dangerous in the country, but it's not for like
Not the reason you think.
It's not for the reason you think. It's just because it's a fire hazard.
See, it's all fresh now. They all new fire code, like up to date stuff, so it's most likely safe again. So
what's
it's not
fresh for Waffle House though?
I
mean,
know.
still slaps together, but like slapped together with 2024 standards.
Okay.
So it might be worse. I don't know. I'm not a contractor.
So our best option right now is go to the most dangerous. The winner has to go.
We
mind
gotta.
you,
The
has
winner.
to go to the most dangerous
winner.
Waffle House in the country.
Hey.
Now
it's
here's
an
my
incentive.
theory to get us
Is this
more off
40
track,
Jess?
because you're gonna find a list. Like Josh said, he did some research online, and you're gonna find the most dangerous Waffle House in America. And I'm here to tell you it's not the most dangerous because everyone knows that it's the most dangerous, which means on some level it has to be known as that, which actually makes it less dangerous a little bit. So you need like on a list of like the top 20, you got to go to like number 7. Because enough people know that like, oh, this place is messed up, but it's not the most messed up, which means that it doesn't have the most attention on it.
I mean, we could do because we could do the math here. And what is the like 3rd most dangerous city?
Well, it's Chicago, New York, and LA probably. So which one of it's the least? Maybe New York.
So if you're going by like crime, Chicago's really low. If you're going by like overall things, so I got, oh man, this would be great. Winner goes to Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's perfect.
We find the 5th most dangerous Waffle House in the 3rd most dangerous city.
That's good. That's really good, Josh.
That's amazing. Birmingham, Alabama is perfect. It's also kind of in between us, like not in between, but kind of like the same driving ish.
Yeah, I'm getting.
You go north long enough, you'll get there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's oh man, it's 10 hours away from me. And then
we're closer, probably then.
Yeah, we probably are.
Yeah, it's it's just 8 for you guys.
Oh, easy.
That's pretty close, though. We'll take it.
That's
easy.
That's
Birmingham, Alabama waffle. Write it down.
A Birmingham.
The prize.
Listeners, please, we beg of you.
Listeners, please, we beg of you, give us a better option than a Birmingham, Alabama Waffle House. We're desperate.
Oh yeah, the prize of going to the 5th most dangerous Waffle House in the 3rd most dangerous city in America as of 2024 is not cannot be our prize.
Now, the best thing about this is that Johnny is the one that's suggesting it, and he's probably the one that's going to get there if the first 2 seasons are any indication.
I've won twice already, so also part of the math is that I'm probably not winning a 3rd time in a row. So
we'll see.
Yeah,
we should probably make some picks because contrary to what you might believe, this is actually not the What We're Following segment. We're picking college football. It might be. Who knows? Whatever. Who knows? College football playoff picks. This is how it works. So you get a point if you pick a team to get to the national championship. You get an additional point if they win it. So there's a total possibility of 3 points. Pretty generous because there's only 4 teams left. It's not like we're picking this when there was 12. So it again is with some trepidation that I have Ohio State beating Penn State. All Big Ten championship. I think Penn State finds a way. And I think Ohio State finds a way too. And they meet in Atlanta, which is good because if it was in Indianapolis, Ryan Day wouldn't know how to get there. And I like the Buckeyes. I like the Buckeyes in this. It scares me. I am worried that I have cursed my team. I'm worried that the opposite's going to happen. Texas and Notre Dame play. And then I just am sitting there with no points and sadness.
No.
But I've got Ohio State over Penn State. That's just what I believe. I think it's going to be a rematch of a game that Ohio State won, despite Ohio State not playing that well. Can James Franklin get over that Ohio State hurdle? I think the answer is no.
He'll finally have faced a big game.
I mean, if he wins, or the Penn State fans could be like, "Oh, it's Notre Dame. They haven't won since 1986." Like, come on, guys.
Exactly.
What are we doing?
You haven't either.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, guess what, guys? I hate saying I'm going classic Blue Bloods here, and I say classic Blue Bloods of just the 2 most iconic helmets. So I'll take OSU over Notre Dame.
Okay.
This is going to let me just. We've already talked Blue Bloods today. This is ultimate uniform games.
Oh yeah,
both of them.
Oh,
yep.
True.
And no matter who makes it to the final, it won't matter.
These are
incredible.
some of the 4 classiest color combos, uniform choices. Oregon lost because they wore lime green to the granddaddy of them.
Yeah. I mean, well, they didn't wear a helmet that matched the jersey. They went one, it just was bad.
You gotta stop
it was
doing
bad together. Anyway, but I mean, this is the bluest of blue bloods here. Like in the semifinals, as Aaron and Josh both mentioned earlier, I can't wait to just see these teams with their jerseys on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awesome. I think Texas is wearing their like all whites because they're the higher seed, so they got to pick that.
Yes.
Which that's the better. I like the burnt orange, but the all whites is good. Buckeyes will get to wear the scarlet with the gray helmets. So it's just going to be beautiful. The Penn State, you know, their jerseys against the Golden Dome. I'm sorry, total sidetracked. I can't wait to just see the visuals of it. Anyway, I also have Ohio State over Penn State. And like Aaron said, I nearly just picked Texas to play Notre Dame just to help my team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because but I'm actually doing what I think will happen. And I have all Big Ten. So take that, SEC. I think they might just have an utter meltdown down there. I don't know. They get snow, and then the Big Ten has both teams in the title game. I don't think they'll know what to do with themselves.
Yeah, I mean, would you guys rather play Penn State or Notre Dame?
I'd rather play Notre Dame because they're so limited.
I think
Which
I'd
is
rather
not totally
play Penn
fair.
State.
It's just
And it's mostly because I think if there's any secondary in college football, well, maybe not, that's probably too broad. If there's any team of these four that can slow down our wide receivers, and I'm not going to say stop because I don't think anyone's stopping them. If there's anyone that could slow it down, I think it is Notre Dame. You've got Xavier Watts back there at safety. You've got some good pieces in the secondary. That's the only reason. And I just think that mental block, much like Ryan Day has with Michigan, kind of applies perhaps to James Franklin and Ohio State. Maybe.
fair enough.
So that'd be my thought.
I think it's close.
But, yeah,
I'm
I
not
agree. I agree.
really cheering for one of them. Like, oh no, like they won. Like I really want Arizona State to win. That's no dig at Arizona State, but they played so well at the end of that game. I just don't think they'd be able to replicate it against Ohio State, and they don't have the depth and talent at all positions as good as Scatterbo is. But yeah, like I don't think anybody's like, oh man, I really want to play Penn State or Notre Dame because I don't think one's super better than the other in this situation. They both provide plenty of difficulties.
Yep. Josh, we got yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went second.
All right, sweet. I just want to double check before I hit the next thing.
Oh yeah, hit it.
The guys spent hours scrolling social media, and they found some pretty dumb stuff. Now they want to talk to you about it.
The real ones know that we would call it ooey pooey.
Ooey pooey.
R.I.P. to ooey pooey.
Ooey Pooey's the
Got you.
answer.
I didn't even need to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never
done.
mind.
Good luck. It's time for What We're Following.
Yeah, if you thought this show was dumb, just wait for this.
We'll really just say anything on this show. Really.
Yeah, we will. Ooey pooey. I don't know.
Rest in peace.
Do we care who gives their What We're Following to kick off 2025? Anyone really itching to go?
I can go.
All right, go for it.
So mine's negative. So I wanted to go first. So
we'll get that one out of the way.
Yeah. So, conference realignment comes for us all. It's just a matter of when, not if. Unfortunately, conference realignment finally came for our friends at the MAC. Very sad. That was the one conference that was a beacon on a hill, if you will. It was geographically fit. It was rivalries. It was Maction. It was Maction. Northern Illinois,
Glorious.
known for their heights, will be joining the Mountain West Conference in football only. So that's interesting. There's TBD on what they're doing with the rest of their sports. If I was the MAC, I'd say pound sand, like find another conference.
I think they have. I don't think they're able to be
sports. Yeah.
I think they pretty much have done
Because
that.
I think otherwise they probably would have said, yeah, you can stay and everything else. Because I'm sure that was part of the MAC trying to keep them too. So the MAC loses their westernmost member. So I guess I'll give Northern Illinois, the benefit of the doubt with the west part, even though they're still east of the Mississippi. But do you guys know what the average elevation is of DeKalb, Illinois?
5.
Oh, okay, Josh.
I was
It's a
going to say
little higher than you
-2
think.
just to be fun, but Josh was better.
So, okay, in fairness, remember, elevation doesn't necessarily mean mountainous. I believe Ohio is even
Yeah, we're like 1,000, right?
almost 1,000.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
almost
like
1,000
Legally, we're above sea level.
because
yeah.
it's a little bit of a plateau. DeKalb is the exact same, 879 feet of elevation. But do you know what the average elevation is of Colorado,
All
which
right,
I
we'll
would
roll.
say kind of just the heart of, Mountain West country? It's almost 7,000.
Whoo.
So just, very much, in the culture and geography,
See,
definitely fits.
Here's the thing:
just-
Colorado cheats by they bought all those big mountains all those years. All NIU has to do is just go to that mountain, like that surplus store, and they can raise that average up
There you go.
real easy.
You're right, Josh.
That's how that works.
They're going to use all that medium going to the Mountain West and do it.
Yes,
I just-
absolutely.
They keep saying they're making more money off of this, and it's significantly so. I just have such a hard time actually seeing that being the case, especially you just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I just really doubt it. And I doubt it even more because Northern Illinois didn't want to be a full-time member.
Yeah.
Because if it was that good of a money grab, you would have just moved all your sports over. So I don't understand it. Like, you had your geographical partners, travel was not bad. Like, I just have a hard time seeing that the increased revenues actually are better than the lower costs that you're working under currently. And I know they've been probably the best team over the long haul in the MAC.
Sure.
By
But
titles,
that
yes.
hasn't actually even been recently, like now. Like, not that they've been bad. I mean, obviously they beat Notre Dame this year, but generally speaking, like, they haven't won a title in a while, and they haven't been dominant like they were like 8-10 years ago. So I just have a lot of questions, but more than anything, I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad that conference realignment finally came for the MACtion. So darn you, Mountain West.
Yeah. At least the MAC is bringing in UMass, and not that it's not great in terms of geography, but it is great that you still have 12 teams. So while it's impossible to know how many teams are in other conferences, the MAC's still with 12. So we do like that. I'm with you. That it's sad. That
See,
trip
even the
when
transfer
Northern
portal's
Illinois
hitting
goes
hard.
to Hawaii and the Rainbow Warriors are like, hey, let's play this at midnight Eastern time. That's what you've done to yourself, NIU. And if the money's
is
worth
your
it,
fault.
good
What
for
about
you.
Hawaii going to
Well, right, the other way around.
Hawaii goes to DeKalb in like November?
Oh,
That's worse than the Southerners.
That's
mean.
horrible.
That's just
going
mean.
there.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's gonna happen eventually, though.
Yeah.
Like, it has to.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, I watched Northern Illinois. I covered a game, not there, but they're playing at Miami. Covered them on a Tuesday night. I'm gonna miss that. No more
beautiful.
NIU on Tuesday
It was
or Wednesday.
beautiful.
That's sad. It's sad.
I
I've got
miss what we
some
used to have,
good
Northern Illinois.
college football. Well, let me start with some more bad, kind of bad, and then I'll end with a high because I've also got some college football things that we didn't necessarily talk about that I'm following. Number one is this, and boy, if this isn't a sign of the times, I don't know what is. Not a single. By the way, this is at Kara Ritchie on Twitter pointing this out. Not a single player who received individual or first team all Sun Belt honors this year will be back with their same team in 2025. None of them. Now, half of this list, they have just graduated. And best of luck to them. I hope they end up in the NFL.
yeah.
The other half have transferred. She made some really nice highlights on this sheet. It's half pink. Those are the people that are seniors. It's half orange. Those are the people that have just transferred or are currently in the transfer portal. There are two players on this list that are yellow because they're transferring within the league. They're coming back to the Sun Belt, but on different teams. Again, not a single player who received individual or first team all Sun Belt honors will be back with their same team. That's unfortunate. The unfortunately, and I don't say this like I want it to be the case. I just say it because I think it's true. The divide between the Group of Five and the Power Four, or whatever you want to call it, when the Pac-12 gets back in action, the Power Five, the Power 4.5, whatever, that gap is getting bigger and bigger. Boise State had a great run, a great season. I think that alone is going to be an anomaly for the Group of Five. I don't think we see a team anywhere close to that in the Group of Five next year. Miami's Ohio, they're putting together a really nice transfer portal. That's a team I would watch. But again, their schedule next year is brutal. They have road trips to Wisconsin, to Rutgers right away. They added a former MAC Offensive Player of the Year and DeQuan Finn. They've made some other really nice pieces. Their recruiting was good. I don't think we see anything remotely close to what Boise State was next year. I'd be really, really surprised. I hope I'm wrong, but there's nothing in this college football landscape that makes me think that what Boise State was able to do, because mind you, Ashton Jeanty had to turn down just about every single school imaginable to come back to Boise State. So that's kind of a bummer, in my opinion. But there's the silver lining is those people that say that there are too many bowl games. Couldn't be us, couldn't be our dedicated listeners, because you all know better.
Never.
Couldn't be you guys. Good news for us, there's a lot of people that feel the same way. There were 33 college football bowl games this year that were not college football playoff related. They were all on ESPN. They averaged 2.7 million viewers each. By the way, that's up 14%. It's the largest audience since about 5 years ago. And 14 of the 33 bowls hit at least a 5-year high, and 5 bowls hit a 10-year high. That's at Burke Magnus reporting on Twitter. That's great news because, yes, college football is
Well
so
done,
much
everyone.
more than the
Beautiful.
playoff. It's the regular season. It's the bowl games. That Pop-Tarts Bowl was a 3.5-hour fever dream. That was unbelievable. So
Don't forget Snoop Dogg.
yeah, Snoop Dogg, speaking of Miami, Snoop Dogg was there. So good for these bowl games. By the way, that's notable too, because everywhere else you look, sports viewership is basically down across the board. So to be up 14%, to me, that's really significant. And look, it's the holidays. Sometimes people just throw up games and they don't really watch them. They're doing stuff for their family. That's all fine. Like the NFL's Christmas Day numbers were insane for how horrible those games were. So part of me is like, there's no way there was that many people actually watching. It's just their TVs were on, which fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But this to me means that, fans were actually watching these games, and that's great. So that's a positive we can hang our hat on in some unusual times in college football.
Mm-hmm. Aaron, and part of that's like those bowl games were so competitive.
Oh yeah.
Like,
truly.
everybody's whining and complaining about the playoff games. The bowl games were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many good
That
close
Toledo
games.
Pittsburgh game,
And then-
6 overtimes.
Oh, yes.
6 overtimes.
Amen.
And also the marketing is stepped up.
Mhm.
Like I'll also let's give credit not just to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Like obvious, they're the easy, like
Oh,
obvious.
absolutely.
Like and they're
Mhm.
brilliant and deserve every flower that they've gotten. But like Snoop Dogg was so funny and he was on the broadcast for like a whole quarter.
Yeah.
Like they brought him up to the booth for a whole quarter. You don't do that with guests. Like it was awesome. Like they're leaning into the goofiness and in the Bahamas Bowl, like they had a couple kids racing a golden retriever. Like
Mhm.
it was so good. Like they're leaning into the goofy, crazy aspects of college football and treating the bowl season as a celebration of the game, as they should. That's the whole point.
Yes.
And less players, I feel like, at least at high levels, credit to them as well, played. Like they didn't opt out. So that helped as well. So I absolutely love that. So I don't normally care a ton about ratings, Aaron, but that's so
Mhm.
that's so good to hear. That's
is
so
really good to hear.
positive. I love that.
Absolutely. You know what else is back up?
Uh-oh.
Enron.
Oh,
How?
no.
Y'all remember Enron? I only know Enron because of the Enron scandal. Which,
Yeah, textbooks, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
School.
Oh,
Yeah.
so just because I've underutilized the sound effects, would you say Enron's yelling one of these?
We're back.
They 100% are.
Mm.
So Enron, if you don't know, if you're like us, dumb, you don't know much about Enron because you were a child when their scandal broke.
Because when I hear SEC, I think Southeastern Conference.
Right.
Yeah.
I do not think Securities and Exchange Commission.
Mm-hmm.
They did lots of bad things related to fraud, like the Wolf of Wall Street type stuff, which I've also not seen. So I assume. But I think as of December 2nd of 2024, Connor Gatos, you would know him as the co-founder of Birds Aren't Real.
Oh,
Johnny, another great nonprofit, relaunched the
maybe
Enron Corporation.
winner of Picks of the Week donates to that charity.
Oh no!
There it is.
I'd rather go to the dangerous one.
We're just stacking incentive upon incentive.
Yeah.
No, Enron, they Aaron, you'll like this. They started a TikTok, and they've been doing some press releases.
Okay.
They've kind of gone, hey, listen, we did some bad stuff back in the day, but we're relaunching. We're fully back on it. They're still an energy company. If you remember Enron did energy. They just released the egg. And you can just go to enron.com/pages/the-egg, and you can look at the egg. It's personal home power. And by personal home power, I mean a personal nuclear reactor that you can buy from them. Nuclear you can trust.
Oh, yeah.
We're trusting people to have their own nuclear device in their house?
That's how
Johnny,
every
listen to
Death
these-
Star is blown up. What are we doing?
I'm more alarmed by that than Enron being back.
Johnny, listen to how safe this thing sounds. The heat resistant casing is engineered to withstand extreme temperatures, designed for peak performance. They have a heavy water pump, keeps hydrogen-rich coolant flowing flawlessly, ensuring precise temperature control. An integrated chip. It's got integrated chips, Johnny. It enables seamless 24/7 monitoring by Enron's nuclear management facility. It's got its own uranium zirconium hydride reactor with boron control drums, just like the ones they had at Chernobyl, and those work so well. Yeah, Johnny.
What if you keep it too close to your kitchen and there's does the neighborhood blow up, or
Let's see here.
What happens when you don't treat the device properly? Just
So here-
like the neighborhood, the town.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm so glad you asked. They have an FAQ section down at the bottom of this product page. How does the Enron egg work? It's a compact nuclear reactor that uses uranium zirconium hydride fuel rods to generate heat through nuclear fission. All right, if you remember this from high school chemistry, yeah. The heat is transferred via a 3D printed Incinel heat exchanger, powering a turbine to generate electricity. All right, see, this is simple stuff. It's a closed loop cooling system. Is the Enron egg safe? That's the big question we want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, safety is a top priority in the Enron egg's design.
Oh, thank goodness.
Fail-safe mechanisms, Johnny. It has fail-safes. The reactor automatically halts reactions if overheated.
The
It's got
failsafe is
advanced
just you
shielding.
blow up, but your neighbors probably won't.
It's built with lead, polyethylene, boron materials, and a steel liner steel, just like they used at Chernobyl to cover it.
Oh no.
It's been rigorous. And how does it now? And most people are going to be wondering, and this is the big thing. I'm sorry, but I'll go ahead for you. What does it cost? And the Enron egg, it's still available for
crazy.
Still pre-order, but the Enron egg is significantly more affordable than traditional energy systems, which cost between $19,000 to $50,000, depending on what you're doing for like HVAC. The egg offers a reliable, consistent energy source at the fraction of the long-term cost. That's from them. That's their words.
What happens when you have to replace the uranium rod?
So the half-life's pretty long, Johnny. I don't think I would worry about that.
I have so many questions, but that's okay. Corrupt
You wanna
company,
want-
there's nothing to see here. Nothing to see
Would
here.
you like? Would you like a $120 Enron hoodie? Enron, the world's leading company. That's their slogan. Or
That's
you can get
a terrible slogan.
That's because leading
90
in what?
leading, Aaron.
Yeah,
This
the
show is
world's
the leading
leading
sports
company.
podcast.
This actually reminds
That
me
means
of
nothing.
business school as well.
Hmm.
Leadership. Why? Because you're supposed to lead. Why am I supposed to lead? Lead. Must lead. Do you know how many times, like, if we would have done a drinking game about the number of times we heard the word leadership or management in business school, nobody would have survived. Nobody would have, like, just
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sign up for their. I'm gonna sign up to see if they have careers. I'm gonna look at their careers.
Oh,
it's your
nuclear
email.
technician. Hopefully, there's lots of hiring of that.
Yes. So I just put my email in. That way, I can get myself as an employee.
Oh, you're applying. Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm applying. Yeah. They give
Is
me
that a
education
punishment?
support.
Last place has to apply to Enron.
Last place has to work at Enron.
Has to work at. I was just going to say apply.
Last
Has
place
to
is in charge of the books. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll cook those
Enron.
books.
Enron stands for energy, nurture, repentant, opportunity, nice.
Does this really say repentant?
Repentant, yeah, that's the R.
I do love that.
This is the boring part. This is the part where everything I say, you're gonna go, I hate this. And you can remove this, Aaron, if you this is a parody. The right expired on the name. Birds Aren't Real purchased it and made a fake website.
yeah. We don't need to tell them that.
Oh.
Please, you can cut that out.
I thought there's okay. The way things are going right now,
That could
that
just be
seemed
real.
totally plausible.
I'm glad I
Like,
sold it.
Mhm.
Oh, you totally sold it. That seemed totally plausible to
So
me.
we're gonna
Yeah.
cut it right here. So the
Oh my
world's leading
gosh.
company,
You got me.
I signed.
You got me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get us all renewable power. Enron, welcome to Enron. We're back. Can we talk? Yes, absolutely. Oh, they got videos of people standing in cornfields.
Oh, in DeKalb probably.
Yeah,
Mountain
absolutely.
West
Are they wearing flannels? Do they look happy? Or
No,
maybe
this
puffy
guy,
jackets?
I say the guy in the thumbnail, he is. Oh man, he does look put off. I'm gonna send you guys a screenshot over Discord.
He's put off because he
he is.
doesn't have renewable energy. I'm assuming.
Because he's poisoning the planet.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do? All right, share to this one. All right, this is
Oh.
coming. This is coming fresh. Is this it? Yeah, it's this one. This guy looks real pensive, I'll be honest. But you know what? Maybe there's a hopeful pensiveness there.
I don't think that's how that works.
Could be. I don't know.
Well, I've had
It's
some.
not
He is wearing a flannel though.
He's wearing a flannel. It's a cornfield. It's about harvest time from the height of that corn and the kind of the color. So I think this guy's just looking at all of the work he has to do the next day.
Fair enough. Well, I've got some breaking news to end the show. Dallas Cowboys have not allowed the Chicago Bears to reach out to Mike McCarthy for their head coaching vacancy. Jerry Jones, what do you have to say about that?
This is not a good time. I really regret this.
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Hey, also speaking of Texas and just weird things, Texas's president just entered the transfer portal, and he's going to go
Yeah.
to SMU now.
Oh,
Why?
wow.
Dude,
Okay.
why are they open? I don't know why they don't open this up until after the.
Yeah,
You got to
right.
finish the season, man.
Yeah. Well, that's a long ways from the SEC
He had an opportunity-
to the ACC. That's kind of a long ways.
Oh my gosh, that is a whole that he is
Must be thousands of miles.
thousands of miles across half a continent, basically.
Yeah.
This is not a
I'm really
good
proud of
time.
him for
I
making that
really
striide.
regret this.
Yeah. Thanks, Jerry. All right. Well, listeners, thanks for being here. As always, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us for season 3. It's going downhill from here, as we promised you. This show only gets worse. So, yeah. All right. Well, next week we'll hear live from the man himself. Johnny will give you the inside scoop. What was Jerry's World really like? Was it 90% Texas fans? Did they get scared of the snow? Will the game get pushed to Saturday? We'll find that all out next week. So
how many curtains were purchased?
Yeah, true.
None.
True.
And no, it's not NFL.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
They got their own rules now.
Yeah.
This is not a good time. I really regret this.
Okay, we're out of here. Thanks, listeners.
Thanks, Jerry.